Milo lived on the edge of a quiet town called Dellon, where dust floated in the air like slow rain, and the sky stretched wide and blue over dry farmland. He was a mechanic, not famous, not rich, just good with broken machines. People brought old drones, tractors, and sometimes old radios to his small workshop. He fixed things without many questions. One late afternoon, as the sun was sinking low and painting the ground orange, Milo closed his toolbox and stepped outside to lock the shop door. But then he heard something, a soft sound like a breath or a whisper from inside the workshop. He frowned. He was sure he was alone. Milo turned back, pushed open the door slowly, and stepped inside. At first, he saw nothing. Then, in the shadow between the shelves, something moved. Someone was there. A girl stepped forward. She looked about his age, maybe 20, with dark hair, silver eyes, and dusty clothes. She looked tired, like she had been running or hiding for days. But her face was calm, almost too calm for someone caught trespassing. Before Milo could speak, she held up one hand, her voice soft and clear. "Please," she said, "don't tell anyone I'm here." Milo stared at her. That voice, it was smooth, perfect, like it didn't belong to someone from Dellon or anywhere nearby. Her eyes glowed just a little under the hanging bulb. He took a step back. "Who are you?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked around the workshop, at the shelves, the tools, the scattered metal parts. Then she looked back, at him. "I'm not here to cause trouble," she said. "That's not an answer," Milo replied. She hesitated, then slowly sat down on a wooden crate. "You can call me Rin." Milo didn't move. "Where did you come from?" "I was passing through," she said. "I needed somewhere quiet. Your place looked safe." It was a strange answer. People didn't just pass through Dellon. It wasn't on any real map. There were no stations, no big roads, no tourists. Only locals and sand. Milo looked at the old drone by the window. Its lights had flickered earlier without a power source. Now he looked back at Rin and noticed something else. Her shoes had no dust on them, even though she'd walked across the dry yard. And her shirt, though worn, had no sweat, no smell of dirt. She was too clean, too perfect. He spoke slowly. "Are you hiding from someone?" Rin looked up at him. For a moment, her silver eyes seemed to flash blue. "Yes," she said, "but I can't tell you who. You wouldn't believe me." Milo crossed his arms. "Try me." She shook her head. "Not now." Milo didn't know why he didn't call the town guard, or his cousin Rennie, who lived nearby. He didn't even reach for his comm device. Instead, he said, "You're lucky I'm not the panicking kind." That made her smile, just a little. "That's why I came here." Milo sighed. "I don't know what's going on, but fine. You can stay tonight, in the loft, no funny business." She nodded. "Thank you." He pointed to the stairs in the corner that led up to the storage loft. "There's an old blanket and pillow, it's not much." Rin stood, walked past him quietly, and climbed the stairs without a sound. It was strange. Her steps made no creaks. Her shadow seemed lighter than it should be. Milo locked the workshop door and sat down near his workbench. He pretended to check an old circuit board, but his eyes kept drifting up to the loft. Who was she? Why was she really here? And most of all, what was she? That night, Milo lay in his small house next to the workshop, but he couldn't sleep. The desert wind howled outside, and the stars blinked cold and distant. He thought about Rin's voice, smooth like music, not like any local accent. He thought about her strange eyes and the way the drone lights had flickered near her. At midnight, he stepped outside, walked quietly to the workshop, and opened the door. All the machines were still. The lights were dim. He looked up at the loft. Rin was there, lying still under the blanket, but her eyes were open, glowing faintly. She looked down at him. "You don't sleep much, do you?" Milo didn't answer, at first. Then he asked, "Are you human?" Rin didn't speak. That silence said more than words. Milo stepped back, heart beating a little faster. But he didn't run, and he didn't panic. He just whispered, "I knew it." Rin sat up slowly. "If I told you the truth, would you still let me stay?" Milo looked at her. Really looked. She didn't seem dangerous, just tired, lonely, lost. "I already said you could stay," he said, "and I don't go back on my word." Rin stared at him, eyes full of something between wonder and relief. "Then," she said softly, "maybe I was right to come here." The morning sun warmed the dusty fields outside Milo's workshop. The quiet town of Dellen was just waking up. Birds flew low over the dry land, and the wind blew soft and warm. Inside the workshop, Milo was already at work, fixing a small broken drone. But his mind was not on the tools. Rin had stayed the night. She slept quietly in the loft, and Milo had kept his promise. He hadn't told anyone she was here. But something about her still puzzled him. As Milo worked, he noticed the drone's small lights blinked in an unusual way. The machine was old and worn, and he had already fixed it. The lights shouldn't be moving, yet they flickered like a heartbeat. He looked around. Rin was downstairs now, near the old radio on a dusty shelf. She sat cross-legged, watching him, with those strange silver eyes that sometimes seemed to shimmer blue in the light. "You know," she said softly, "machines can hear more than you think." Milo frowned. "What do you mean?" Rin smiled faintly, as if sharing a secret. "They listen to energy, to signals, even when they are off." Milo picked up a small wrench. "I've never seen a drone behave like this." Rin stood and walked to the window, looking out at the desert. "Your world is full of hidden things," she said. "You just don't always see them." Milo watched her carefully. She spoke as if she understood more than any visitor should. Later that day, strange things began to happen around the farm. First, the old tractor, which hadn't worked for months, started up by itself. It rumbled quietly, moving just a few feet. Forward before stopping, Milo rushed outside, confused. "Rin, did you touch this?" he asked. She shook her head. "No, but I felt something here." Milo frowned and checked the tractor carefully. There were no signs of tampering. It was as if the machine had simply woken up on its own. Next, in the evening, the barn's broken. Light flickered on and off. Milo walked over to fix the wiring, but everything looked normal. "Maybe the power grid is unstable," he said, but Rin wasn't convinced. She put a hand on the metal wall, closing her eyes. Milo watched her, fascinated. After a few seconds, Rin opened her eyes. "Something is watching," she said quietly. "Not here, but near." Milo shivered. He wanted to ask more, but Rin didn't say anything else. That night, the old radio on the shelf suddenly came to life. It crackled with static, and then a strange voice spoke. Not words, but a melody, soft and strange, like a song from far away. Milo turned the dial, but the voice faded quickly. Rin came from the loft and smiled faintly. "It's a signal," she said. "From deep space." Milo shook his head in disbelief. "How do you know?" She shrugged. "I can hear it. Others can't." Milo sat down heavily. "Why don't you tell me the truth? You're not from here, are you?" Rin looked down at her hands. "No, I'm not." "But why are you hiding?" Rin's eyes grew sad. "My world is in trouble. I escaped because I refused to be part of the fight." Milo listened carefully. He did not understand everything she said, but he could tell her words were true. The next day, Milo decided to keep an eye on the sky. From the small hill behind the farm, he watched the sun rise. It was clear and bright, but he noticed something. Strange. A smooth silver shape in the distance. It moved silently, too high for any bird. "Rin," he called. "Come look." She came quickly and stood beside him. Her eyes narrowed. "That ship," she said, "is not from your world." Milo felt a mix of fear and curiosity. "What do they want?" Rin looked away. "To find me." Milo's heart beat faster. "Are they dangerous?" She shook her head, slowly. "Not always, but they are serious." For the first time, Milo saw worry on Rin's face. Over the next days, the silver ship circled the area. It never landed, but its presence made the town uneasy. Milo and Rin worked together, trying to keep her hidden. He showed her the tools he used to fix machines and even taught her how to use a small drone. One evening, while they were repairing the drone, Milo asked, "Why Earth? Why hide here?" Rin looked up at the stars through the workshop window. "Earth is quiet, unimportant. No one expects much from your people." Milo smiled, half proud, half unsure. "Maybe that's true. But sometimes, quiet hides a lot." Rin nodded slowly. "I'm learning that." One night, Milo heard soft humming from the workshop. When he looked, Rin was speaking in a strange language, sounds and tones that felt like music. Suddenly, the workshop lights flickered. The drone's lights blinked faster and faster, then stopped. Milo stepped closer. "Rin, what was that?" She smiled mysteriously. "A message from my people." Milo's eyes widened. "Are they close?" Rin's face grew serious. "Closer than I thought." That night, Milo couldn't sleep. He stared out at the stars and thought about Rin's world, her secret, and the strange signals that hummed in the air. He realized one thing clearly. This quiet town was no longer just a dot on the map. It was a place where something important was happening, and Milo was right in the middle of it. The silver ship stayed in the sky above Delin. It moved silently, like a shadow gliding between clouds. The townspeople noticed it but didn't say much. In a place like Delin, strange things happened often. Dry winds, broken machines, lost, animals. So a silent ship was just another mystery. But Milo knew better. He watched the ship every day from the hill behind the farm. It never came closer than a few miles, but Milo could see its smooth surface reflecting the sun like a giant mirror. It was watching, waiting. Rin grew quiet. Her usual calm was replaced with tension. She wore a thin metallic bracelet on her wrist. A simple band, but Milo noticed it glowed faintly when she touched it. Sometimes she whispered words into the wind, soft and urgent, as if calling someone far away. One afternoon, Milo decided to follow her. Rin left the workshop quietly and walked toward the desert. The sun was hot, but she moved fast and sure, like she knew the land better than it showed. Milo grabbed his hat and ran to keep up. After about 20 minutes, Rin stopped at a shallow crater, a hollow in the sand, just big enough to hide something. She knelt down and placed her hand on the ground. The bracelet on her wrist glowed brighter, and blue light spread softly from her palm into the sand. Suddenly, a small pod emerged, rising smoothly from the earth. It was sleek and silent, like a leaf carried by the wind. Milo's eyes widened. "Is that your ship?" Rin nodded but didn't look at him. "It's a way to leave if I must. But not yet." Milo swallowed hard. "They're coming closer, aren't they?" Rin's silver eyes met his. "Yes. They want to find me. To bring me back." "Why?" Milo asked. "Because I refused to." "Join the war," Rin said quietly. "I said no to their leaders. Now I'm a traitor to my people." Milo stared at her, thinking how strange it was. A whole war, and this quiet girl was at its center. "Is your world very different from here?" he asked. Rin smiled sadly. Very different. More crowded. Faster. But also colder. They value power and control above all else. Milo nodded slowly. Sounds like they don't know much about kindness. Rin's eyes softened. Not like your people here. They stood in silence for a moment, the desert wind blowing dust around their feet. Suddenly, a soft humming filled the air. Milo looked up and froze. From the horizon, a smaller ship appeared, sliding low over the sand. It was sleek and silver, like the one in the sky, but faster and closer. Rin's hand flew to her bracelet. "They found me," she said. Milo felt his heart pound. "What do we do?" Rin looked determined. "We run. They cannot catch me here." Milo grabbed his bag and followed her as she ran toward the hills. The ship followed silently, keeping pace with them. They moved quickly over rocky ground and dry shrubs. Milo gasped for breath, but Rin kept going, her feet barely touching the earth. Finally, they reached a small cave hidden by stones and bushes. Rin slipped inside and activated a small device on her bracelet. A thin blue barrier shimmered across the entrance, like a curtain of light. The ship slowed and hovered nearby but did not try to enter. Inside the cave, Milo's chest heaved as he caught his breath. Rin sat down on a smooth rock and looked at him. "They won't stop," she said. "Not until they have me." Milo nodded. "Then we have to be smarter." Rin smiled faintly. "That is why I stayed here with you. Your people are clever." Milo felt proud. "I'm not sure about clever, but I know how to fix things." Rin's eyes glowed softly. "Fixing things is a skill I need." They spent hours in the cave, planning. Milo showed Rin the small drone he had repaired. "This can fly low and see without being noticed," he said. Rin studied it carefully. "We can use it to watch them." Milo also pulled out a simple radio transmitter. "I can send messages to nearby towns. If we get caught, I can warn people." Rin nodded. "Good, but I want to try something else." She held out her hand, and the bracelet lit up again. A soft hum filled the cave. Milo watched as strange symbols floated in the air, glowing shapes he could not understand. "It's a map," Rin explained, "of the stars and places they might come from." Milo studied the glowing map and thought hard. "Maybe," he said slowly, "we can find a way to block their signals. If they can't find you, they might leave." Rin smiled. "Yes, that is the hope." Outside, the sun was setting, and the desert glowed orange and red. They left the cave carefully, staying in the shadows. The silver ship hovered farther away now, as if watching but unwilling to come closer. Milo and Rin walked back to the farm, tired but hopeful. As they reached the workshop, Milo stopped. "Rin," he said, "why did you trust me?" She looked at him, her silver eyes shining. "Because you listened," she said simply, "and you did not run away." Milo smiled. "Sometimes that is the hardest thing to do." They both laughed quietly. That night, as the stars blinked overhead, Milo sat by the window and looked at the sky. The silver ship was still there, but for the first time, it seemed less like a threat and more like a challenge that Milo was ready to meet. The days passed slowly in Delin. The quiet town went about its business, unaware of the silent war playing out above its dusty skies. Milo and Rin worked side by side in the small workshop, fixing machines, sharing stories, and planning what to do next. One evening, after a long day of repairing an old water pump, Rin asked Milo to sit down. "There is something I must tell you," she said, her voice soft but serious. Milo looked at her, curious. "What is it?" Rin took a deep breath and began to speak. "I am not just a traveler or a refugee. I am a queen." Milo blinked, surprised. A queen? What do you mean? Rin nodded slowly. I am the rightful ruler of my people. Milo leaned back, trying to understand. Your people? Rin's eyes shone with quiet pride and sadness. Yes. My world is far from here, in a place called Viridian. It is a planet with many cities and many kinds of life. I was chosen to lead, but I refused. Why? Milo asked. Because their leaders want war, Rin said. They want to take control of other worlds to expand their power. But I believe in peace. Milo frowned. That sounds dangerous, Rin nodded. It is. That is why I had to run. I escaped to Earth to hide. Milo was quiet for a moment. So you're running from your own people? Yes, Rin said. But not all of them. Some still believe in peace. But the rulers want me back. They want to force me to join them, or disappear. Milo looked around the small workshop at the dusty tools and broken machines. Why Earth? Why come all this way? Because Earth is simple, quiet, Rin explained. No one expects much from humans. They think your world is weak. That makes it a good hiding place. Milo smiled faintly. Maybe they're wrong. Rin looked at him with surprise. What do you mean? Milo shrugged. Humans may not be powerful like your people, but we're clever. We find ways to survive, to solve problems, even when things look hopeless. Rin smiled softly. That is what I have learned here. Your people have kindness and hope. Things I never saw on Viridian. Milo felt proud. Maybe that's why you stayed. Rin nodded. Yes. I stayed because I saw something better here. I saw a chance for peace. The two sat quietly for a moment, sharing a rare feeling of trust. Suddenly, Milo asked, If you are a queen, what will happen when your people find you? Rin's face grew serious. They will try to bring me back, by force if they must. Milo's heart beat faster. Can we stop them? Rin shook her head. Not alone, but with help. Maybe. Milo thought hard. I know people who can help. Not soldiers, but clever minds. We can build things to protect you. Rin smiled faintly. That would be good. Over the next days, Milo introduced Rin to some of the town's best tinkerers and thinkers. They were amazed by her knowledge and calm strength. Together, they worked on ways to hide Rin better and to watch for signs of the alien ships. Rin taught them about her world, the stars, and the strange powers she had learned. Milo felt lucky to know her. She was not just a visitor. She was a leader with a brave heart. One evening, while they studied star maps in the workshop, Rin spoke again. There is more to being a queen than power, she said. It is about protecting your people, guiding them to a better future. Milo nodded. Sounds like a big responsibility. It is, Rin said softly, but one I am ready to face when the time comes. The silver ship still hovered in the sky, watching and waiting. But now, Milo and Rin were no longer afraid. They had each other, and the hope that even a quiet town on Earth could change the course of a faraway war. The days in Delin began to change. The quiet town was no longer just a place of dusty roads and slow machines. It had become a small center of hope and secret plans. Milo and Rin worked side by side, their bond growing stronger with each passing moment. One morning, as Milo was checking a broken generator near the edge of town, his small drone suddenly stopped working. The lights blinked strangely, then went dark. Milo frowned. He tapped the controls, but the drone would not respond. What's wrong? Rin asked, coming to his side. Milo shook his head. I don't know. It's like something is blocking the signal. Rin's silver eyes narrowed. They are closer than we thought. They? Milo asked, worry in his voice. The ships. The ones searching for me, Rin said softly. They are using technology to hide their movements and block our communications. Milo thought fast. Then we need to find a way to stop that. Rin looked at him with a small smile. I have an idea, but it's risky. That night, inside the workshop, Rin showed Milo a strange device she had hidden inside her bag. It was small, no bigger than Milo's fist, but it pulsed with a soft blue light. This is an interference jammer, Rin explained. It can block their signals, but only for a short time. Milo stared at the device. How short? About 30 minutes, Rin said. That's all we get. Milo thought about it. Then we use it carefully, when they come closer. The next few days passed with tension. The silver ships in the sky moved slower now, almost as if they were searching for something very important. Milo and Rin prepared their plan. They would wait until the ships were close, then use the jammer to block their signals and buy time. 1. Afternoon, as the sun was setting and the sky turned orange, the ships moved low over Dellen. The townspeople stopped their work and stared, feeling something strange and heavy in the air. Milo and Rin moved quickly to the hill behind the farm. Milo held the jammer tightly in his hand, while Rin watched the ships with a steady gaze. They're coming, Rin said quietly. The ships glided closer, their smooth metal surfaces shining in the last light. Milo took a deep breath and pressed the button on the jammer. Suddenly, the sky seemed to flicker. The ships wobbled, their lights dimmed, and the strange humming sound faded. For 30 minutes, the ships drifted, confused and unable to communicate. Milo and Rin moved fast. They sent messages with the small drone to the nearby towns, warning people to be ready and to watch the skies. But the ships were not powerless for long. As the jammer's light faded, the ship's signals returned stronger than before. The humming filled the air again, and the ships moved faster as if angry. Milo looked at Rin. They know we are here. Rin nodded. They are preparing to land. Milo's heart pounded. We need to be ready. That night, Rin taught Milo more about her powers. She showed him how she could control light and energy in small ways, enough to create shields or send signals. Milo was amazed. You really are different. Rin smiled softly. I am who I must be. But even with their preparations, the landing was sudden. A ship touched down in the desert just outside Dellen, kicking up dust and stones. The ground trembled, and the townspeople ran inside their homes. Milo and Rin stood near the workshop, watching as figures stepped out from the ship. They wore dark suits, their faces hidden behind reflective helmets. Rin's face grew serious. They are coming for me. Milo stepped forward. Then they will have to get through me first. The strangers moved carefully but confidently toward the workshop. Milo grabbed a metal rod and stood ready. Rin placed her hand on his shoulder. Wait. She closed her eyes and whispered strange words. A soft blue light surrounded her hands. Suddenly, the ground near the ship cracked and glowed. From the cracks, tall pillars of light shot up, forming a barrier between the strangers and the workshop. The strangers stopped, surprised. Rin looked at them. This is a warning. Stay back. One of the figures removed their helmet, revealing a woman with sharp eyes and silver hair. A leader. Rin, she said coldly, you cannot run forever. Return with us. It is your duty. Rin shook her head. I refuse. The leader's eyes narrowed. Then you leave us no choice. Before Milo could react, the strangers activated small devices that sent waves of energy toward Rin and Milo. But Rin raised her hands, and the blue light shielded them. The leader stepped forward. Again, this is your last chance. Rin looked at Milo, then back at the leader. I will fight for peace, not for war. The leader smiled cruelly. Then prepare for battle. The strangers charged forward, but Milo and Rin were ready. The quiet town of Dellen was about to become the battlefield for a war much larger than anyone could imagine. The night was dark, but the desert around Dellen was alive with light and noise. The blue pillars that Rin had created glowed brightly, casting strange shadows on the sand and rocks. Milo stood beside Rin, feeling the weight of the moment. The strangers from the ship advanced carefully, their suits glowing faintly in the light. Their leader, the silver-haired woman, moved with purpose. "You cannot stop us forever," she said coldly. Rin's eyes shone with determination. "I don't want to stop you forever. I want to stop the war." The leader laughed softly. "Peace is a dream. Power is real." Milo tightened his grip on the metal rod he held. He knew he wasn't a soldier, but he was ready to protect Rin and his town. The first attack came suddenly. The strangers fired small energy bolts from their hands. The blue light barrier shimmered and bent under the attack, but held strong. Rin moved forward, her hands glowing brighter. She released a pulse of energy that pushed the attackers back several steps. Milo ducked behind a large rock as more energy bolts came his way. He looked around for something to help. Nearby, a broken drone sat on the ground. Milo grabbed its control panel and quickly fixed the power. The drone buzzed to life and flew up, circling the attackers. The strangers seemed surprised by the little flying machine. Milo smiled. "Try dealing with this." The drone flashed bright lights and made loud noises. The attackers' attention split between Rin and Milo. Rin took the chance. She raised her hands again, and the blue barrier expanded, protecting not just her, but the whole farm. The leader growled. "You cannot hide behind walls forever." She signaled the others, and they began moving faster, attacking from different sides. Milo saw one stranger approaching from behind the barn. He shouted to Rin, "Watch out!" Rin turned just in time to block an energy blast aimed at her back. The blast hit her shield, making a loud crackling noise. Milo rushed to her side. "Are you okay?" Rin nodded, breathing heavily. "I will be." The fight continued, fast and fierce. The desert air was filled with light and sound, energy beams, shouts, and the hum of machines. But Milo and Rin were not alone. From the town, small groups of people came out, carrying tools and homemade weapons. They had heard the warnings and wanted to help. A farmer with a long metal pipe joined Milo. A mechanic brought a small flamethrower he had built. Others followed, ready to defend their home. The strangers hesitated, surprised by the humans' courage. Milo looked at Rin. "We can do this. We just need to work together." Rin smiled. "Yes, together we are stronger." Using Rin's powers and the townspeople's cleverness, they began pushing the attackers back. Milo led a group to block the ship's landing area, using rocks and scrap metal to create barriers. Rin focused her energy, creating shields that protected the people and blocked the attackers' beams. The leader realized they were losing ground. She called out orders, but the attackers struggled against the unexpected defense. Finally, with a loud roar, the silver ship lifted off the ground. The leader shouted, "Retreat! This is not over." The attackers ran back to the ship, which shot up into the sky and disappeared among the stars. The blue pillars of light faded, and silence returned to the desert. Milo looked around, his heart pounding with relief. Rin smiled, warmly. "We did it." The townspeople cheered quietly, proud and tired. Milo felt a deep respect for Rin. She was more than a queen. She was a symbol of hope and peace. That night, as the stars shone above Dellen, Milo and Rin sat together knowing the battle had been won, but the war was far from over. The morning sun rose slowly over Dellen, painting the desert in warm orange and gold. After the battle, the town was quiet but filled with a new energy. People moved with purpose, fixing what was broken and sharing stories of courage. Milo woke early and stepped outside the workshop. He saw Rin standing on the hill, looking toward the horizon where the silver ships had disappeared. Her silver eyes reflected the rising sun. Milo walked up to her. "Do you think they will come back?" Rin turned to him with a calm smile. "They might, but now we are ready." Milo nodded. "We have the town. We have each other." Rin's face grew serious. "Yes, and that gives me hope." Together they returned to the workshop where the townspeople were gathering. There was a sense of community. People who had once been strangers now shared a common goal: to protect their home and help Rin. Rin spoke to them quietly, but with strength. "I came here to hide, but now I see that Earth is more than a place to run. It is a place to fight for peace." The crowd listened closely. Some nodded, others smiled. Milo stepped forward. "We can learn from Rin. We can use our skills and our hearts to make sure Dellen is safe." The people cheered softly, feeling the truth in his words. Over the next weeks, Milo, Rin, and the townspeople worked together. They built new defenses using both human tools and Rin's alien technology. They trained in ways to protect themselves, not with violence, but with cleverness and courage. Rin taught the people about the stars and her world, and they shared stories of Earth's own history, of struggles and hope. One evening, Milo asked Rin, "What will you do now? Will you stay here?" Rin looked up at the stars, her silver eyes full of thought. "I must be a queen for my people, but I want to be a queen for peace." She turned to Milo. "I will try to build a bridge between our worlds, to show my people that there is another way." Milo smiled. "I believe you can." Days turned into months. The silver ships did not return, but the people of Dellen remained watchful. They were no longer just simple townsfolk. They were guardians of a secret, a symbol of hope that peace could be stronger than war. Rin's bracelet glowed softly as she stood with Milo under the night sky. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for your friendship, your courage, and your heart." Milo looked at her and said, "We saved more than just a town. We saved a chance for a better future." Together they looked toward the stars, knowing that even in the darkest night, hope can shine like a light guiding the way. The new beginning had come.